So you finally did it. You put that resume together, you did all that job searching, and you have an interview for a Linux administrator. So today we're going to go over 5 common Linux interview questions that you may receive. Now these are to be used as a starting point for you studying and preparing for that Linux administrator interview. These are not the be-all, get-all questions that you may receive. You may receive different questions depending on where you're interviewing at. But these are going to be 5 common questions that you'll receive at a Linux administrator interview. Define the basic components of Linux. First, you have the kernel. The Linux kernel is a core part of the Linux operating system, and it works as a bridge between the hardware and the software of the Linux operating system. Then you have the shell. The shell is the interface between the kernel and the user. It helps a lot of people to think of this as the terminal command line. Then you have the GUI, which is the graphical user interface. This is where you use menus and icons to interact with the operating system, and you use your mouse to click on them. And then you have application programs, and these are designed to perform a bundle of tasks and a bundle of functions. And then you have system utilities. These are software functions where users manage the system. Describe the Linux CLI and GUI. CLI is the command line interface. It takes input commands and runs the task. Here's the command line here, and so I can do who am I, and it shows who I'm logged in as, and I can do print working directory, and it shows where I'm at the directory. I can do top to see the current running processes. The GUI is the graphical user interface. It uses icons, menus, and windows, and you interact with it using your mouse. And the graphical user interface on a Linux machine looks very similar to a Windows. You have the different icons for the apps, you have the menus, and then you have the settings that you can interact with through the interface. What is the difference between a hard link and a soft link in Linux? Hard link acts as a copy or it mirrors the selected file. It can access data available in the original file. If the earlier selected file is deleted, the hard link to the file will still contain the data that was originally in the file. And you can access a hard link faster compared to a soft link. A soft link is also known as a symbolic link. It acts as a pointer or a reference point to the original file. It does not access directly the data inside that file. So if the original gets deleted, you're left with what's called a hanging link, which means it shows that it's still there, but there's nothing actually there when you go to access it. And a soft link can be used across different file systems. How do you mount and unmount file systems in Linux? For mounting, you want to use a command like lsblk to list the different drives or partitions you have available. And then you need to create a mount point. For example, sudo make directory mount mntpt for mount point, and then to mount using sudo mount the partition you want to mount. And then the place you want to mount it at. So now if I ls/mount point, I'll see read-only files that pertain to the loop 18 partition. To unmount it, you simply do sudo umount and then the mount point. So now if I do an ls, nothing's there because it's unmounted. How do you find and kill a process in Linux? If you don't know what the process ID is, you can use a ps-ox pipe to grep for the process. I'm going to do Apache 2 in this case. And that will give you the process IDs. You can simply kill it by just using kill and the process name. Apache 2. It's going to fail on this one because I didn't put a sudo in front of it. And then a bonus question, how do you find and replace text in a file using the sed command? So let me cat docker-nginx so that we can see what's already there. The basic way to use sed, do sed quotation search / I'm going to replace nginx with test. I'm going to do it globally on the file, close quotation marks. Then I'm going to put the file name. And then if you compare everywhere NGIX was at originally, it now says test. Now, those were 5 common interview questions that you would get in a Linux administrator job interview. You would probably receive a whole lot more, so like I said at the beginning, use this as a jumping off point for studying and preparing for that interview. If you want more practice in using Linux in an administrative situation, this video series goes over a bunch of the basic tasks you'll be doing as a Linux administrator. Be sure to hit the like button down below, it helps me out a lot, and click subscribe and the bell icon so you know the next time I release a video. Thank you guys.